Hello and welcome to another Blender Cookie tutorial. This is David Ward, and in this tutorial I'm going to go over creating a moderately advanced face rig. Now the face rig that I showed you before is a little outdated. Some of the techniques we used in there, have changed a little bit with the different versions of Blender that have been coming out. So thought I'd update that and maybe add a little bit more to it. So, okay. What we got here is a little character I've named Edward, sort of going off of a Tim Burton style. If you're one of my YouTube subscribers, then you might recognize him from one of my tutorials from a while back. He's been sitting around collecting dust, so I thought, hey, I'll use him for this tutorial and get some use out of him. So, quick rundown, jump in there, it's a decent topology, I guess. The eye shapes are a little different, so they have a lattice set on them on this layer right here. Go ahead and hold down Shift, go to that layer, so you can see that in effect right there. So we'll go and turn that back off. Make sure we remember that later, because what we're going to do is we're going to go in and create a bunch of shape keys for our facial expressions. Smile, frown, lips pursed, and jaw down, lips together, lips open, squint, blink, eyebrows up, down, so on and so forth. And then we're going to, put some shape key drivers on those and drive those with a rig with actual bones. The bones themselves won't be actually controlling anything on the mesh. They won't be deforming it at all, but they will be controlling those shape keys. So they will give the appearance that they are, moving the face. Anyways. All that being said, let's go ahead and get started on these shape keys. So let's just grab our model here, jump over to our object data, go down here, we'll hit the little plus sign there, and it's going to create a basis. Now what a basis is just basically that. It's a basis to start modeling from. It's basically the blank canvas. And we don't want to ruin our blank canvas. We want to go ahead and hit the plus sign again. We're going to create our first key, and it's going to say key 1. So the basis is just something for these keys to say, hey, that's the base. We need to, move things according to that. So we'll start our actual modeling on key 1. And let's go ahead and rename that to, let's say, jaw down. Okay. Now, this technique I'm going to show you it kind of relies on your model having closed lips at the beginning, because what we're going to do is the jaw's going to come down, but the lips are going to stay together, and you can we'll move the jaw left and right, and you can kind of just do a chewing motion with just these shape keys, and then if we want to open the lips, we'll just throw in another shape key for that. So if you're using your own model, you might want to make sure the lips are closed and the jaw is closed. So we have our teeth in here, so when we move our lips up and down, we can actually see the teeth. And there's a tongue in there too. We might go ahead and make a shape key for sticking the tongue out, licking the lips, whatever. Okay, so let's go ahead and start working on these shape keys. I'm going to put my 3D cursor right about where the jaw is going to hinge. Probably about right there. I'm not sure if that's anatomically correct, but that's where I'm going to do it. So we'll tab into edit mode. And the first thing I want to do is, I'm going to be doing all these different face shapes. I don't want to accidentally move these top teeth because, they're there, they're solid, they're not going to move no matter what facial expression you make. The top teeth don't move at all. The bottom teeth will, but the top teeth not so much. So what we're going to do is hide those so we don't accidentally mess them up somehow. So what I'm going to do is just hit B to bring up my crosshair selection tool, and I'm just going to draw across the bottom teeth, the bottom gums, and part of the face there, and then I'll hit Control L, and it's going to select everything that's connected to those vertices and leave the top teeth and the top gums alone. So what we're going to do now is go to Select and Inverse, and we'll have only the top teeth and gums selected now, and we'll go ahead and hit H to hide them. Okay, so now we can do whatever we want, and those top teeth and top gums are not going to get touched at all. We could, grab everything here and move it way over here, and then when we tab out of edit mode, and move that shape key value all the way up, you can see that those top teeth and gums are still untouched. So, let's undo that. Okay, one thing I've found is if you're editing a shape key and then you come out of edit mode and mess with it a little bit, you can't go back in and hit Control-Z. It won't work. So what you got to do is just go ahead and just delete that shape key and just start another one. So we'll call this one, what was it, Jaw Down. Okay, so we'll go into Side View, 3D cursor is where we want it. We're going to rotate around that so we get a nice jaw open close. Tab into Edit Mode there, kind of do the same trick we did with the top teeth to select the bottom ones. Just select one of the vertices there on the face head mesh, and hit Control-L, and then we'll Control-I to select the inverse. And then we also want to, before we go any further, let's make sure over here in our mesh tools that our mesh options are set to X mirror and topology mirror. So that will make sure that anything we do on this side will get mirrored over onto the other side. So, okay, undo a couple times, get those bottom teeth selected again. Go ahead and select our jaw line here, about like so. Okay, and we'll go ahead and hit Alt-O, and what that's going to do is turn on our proportional editing mode to the connected setting, and that's only going to affect what's connected to these. So, for example, if I move this with normal proportional editing, it can move, you know, the whole, the neck and the head and everything. But if it's only set to connected, well, I guess the fall off was set so high I was selecting everything. But anyways, connected is not going to. Okay, here's a good example. If I just selected these teeth here, if it's on, if it's on normal enabled, it's going to do the whole, everything surrounding that. But if it's on connected, it's only going to do the vertices that are immediately surrounding it. So undo a couple times, get everything selected back that we want. Hit period to rotate around our 3D cursor, and we'll just rotate our jaw down. And let's close up that influence. And you know what? Let's do, I want to move these lips. I don't want them to move all the way down, but I would like to move them to where they're moving down a little bit. So if I just keep going on the path I'm doing like this, you can see that they're separating up there, and I don't really want that. So let's just go ahead and select some of these loops around the lips, like so. Okay. Now we'll rotate. Yeah, let's make sure. Let's go ahead and get that tongue in there. You can see him, see the silhouette of him in there. Let's go ahead and grab him. Okay, and now we'll rotate down, fairly wide open. Okay, and I know it's looking funny there on the front, but now we're going to only select just the lips there. I'll get in there real close and select one of these. There we go. And now, make sure we're still on connected. Now we'll move those back up just a little bit. Okay, so now let's see what it looks like when we go jaw down. Okay, that looks pretty decent, I think. Kind of has a nice chewing gum motion, but, you know, something you might notice when you watch someone chew or look in the mirror and chew or whatever on TV, something. Chewing is not just an up and down jaw motion. It also has sort of almost a circular motion where the jaw comes down, goes over, and then up, and then as it hits the top, it kind of grinds the food, you know, so the teeth actually act as grindstones, basically. Grinding. So anyways, to get a good version of that here in our character, let's go ahead and grab the bottom jaw. Actually, tab out. First off, we need to make another shape key. And make sure when you make shape keys that all the previous shape keys, like if we had, you know, a bunch of different ones, we keep adding them, make sure all the previous ones, like right now the jaw down is the previous one, make sure they're all set to 0. Otherwise, it will copy that. So if I set the jaw up to 1 and hit plus to add another shape key, basically it gave key 3 here, the exact same vertex position as jaw down. So if I went ahead and valued that one, you can see it just doubles what's already there. And if I bring this one down to 0 and then that one up to 1, it's the exact same key. So make sure that everything's on 0 when you add a new one, you know, unless you're wanting to copy it. So, and actually we will be doing that later on, and I'll show you how that works. But for right now, we're just zeroing those out as we go. And so this key 2 needs to be jaw. We'll say jaw left. And we'll come to front view, tab into edit mode, and we have everything selected except for the jaw, or except for the teeth and gums. We'll go ahead and Control I to select just the teeth, and go ahead and select some of the chin, lower jaw there, like so. Okay, now we need to come over here and turn off our X mirror and topology mirror. And what we're going to do is go ahead and put our 3D cursor right there at the base of the nose. Okay, and we're going to have to use mathematics here now because, I mean, we're going to do a jaw left where he's going to the left, and then we'll also do a jaw right. So we can kind of fudge it to where it looks about the same, but we can also just type in the numbers and get it exactly perfect. So let's just hit R to rotate, and we'll say 7 degrees. Maybe not. Let's do it 10 degrees. So R to rotate 10 degrees, and you can see it's going to the right side instead. You know, stage right. Edward's right here. I don't know if I told you his name is Edward. So we need to go the other way, so we'll just hit the minus button on the numpad. So it goes negative 10 degrees. Okay, go ahead and hit enter on your numpad. And at this point, the teeth would be going through the upper teeth. So let's go ahead and move those down just a little bit. So we'll hit G, and let's do 0.1 on the Z-axis, negative. Oh, that's way too far. So let's escape out. So we'll say G, and this time let's go ahead and hit Z first, and we'll say negative 0.025. There we go. Okay, sorry I had to pause the recorder there for a second. I had a coughing fit, but I'm all better now. So we got our jaw left done. Let's go ahead and tab out of edit mode. Make sure that works okay. Good. And yeah, that'll be fine, I guess. And let's go ahead and create a new key. Call this one jaw right. Okay, tab back into edit mode, and we still have everything selected. And we'll go ahead and rotate 10 degrees. So this time we're going the right direction, so we'll go ahead and hit enter. And then G, Z, negative 0.1. Oops, that was right. That was too far, wasn't it? G, Z, negative 0.05. Was it 0.5? I can't remember. Coughing fit made me forget. G, Z, negative 0.1. No, it's 2. G, Z, negative 0.05. There we go. We'll say that's good. Negative 0.01. Okay, tab out. Good. 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 It might be too far there. Kind of stretching that nose out some. You know what? Let's edit that one. Tab back in here. Grab our lips again. If I can grab the right, there we go. Okay, move that up just a little. And maybe out some as well. I think that'll work okay. Okay, now, one final thing here for our jaw movement. Go ahead and add a new one, and we'll say jaw jut. So what I'm going to do now is kind of just grab those bottom teeth. Remember, grab everything, Control I to invert, and then grab the chin and the bottom lip, I guess. Part of it anyways. And remember, I'm hitting C to use the select paint. And we'll kind of just move everything up here. He's jutting his jaw out just a little. Okay. So there we go. So we got our jaw down, jaw left and right, and our jaw jut. Okay. Now, let's kind of work on the smiles and frowns. Now, one thing we need to do, since these shape keys here kind of apply to the whole jaw area, but you know, smiling and frowning is only going to be on one side a piece. So what we can do is either, you know, do each one at a time, Or we can kill two birds with one stone and kind of cut them out at the same time. The way we want to do that is vertex groups. Now what we're going to do is create a couple here. And just rename this one left. And this one right. Okay. And we'll tab into edit mode, deselect everything, and get our crosshair select up. And just drag over till we get about half of everything. Zoom in here. Actually, we need to... I was about to unhide the top teeth, but I don't guess it's really necessary. So we select all of that half, and that's going to be our left side. So we'll go to Assign, and then we'll select all of this half. And I know you notice I'm leaving the center set of vertices unselected, and I'll show you why momentarily. Go and select all of these as well. Looks like some of our teeth merged together in there. Oops. There we go. Assign these to the right side. And now I'll select that middle row there. And I'm going to change my weight of my vertex groups here. We're going to set that to 0.5. And now I'll assign it to both sides. And you can imagine what that's going to do. If I go to weight paint, you can see that I have, on my left side, I have all of those ones that I originally selected dark red. That means they're all applied to this left side. And then we have a nice gradient fade from that selected to unselected. And then the right side is the exact opposite. So what we have here is, well, obviously we have, on the left side, we have everything on the left side selected with a gradient fade to the right, and then, you know, exactly the same thing on the other side, opposite. So the reason we did that, let's go back to object mode, is because now when I create a new key, we'll call this one smile. Okay, and we'll tab in edit mode, grab the corners of the mouth there, and actually make sure we have our mirror turned on, and set Edward here to smile. Maybe even rotate the, let's go control comma to get our, what is it called, median point selection available, or select and turned on there again. Selection turned on. Blech. And let's just rotate those into a nice curved smile. And maybe bring those back a little bit. Oops, I have that selected there. Alt. There we go. And bring that smile in a little bit. Okay, so let's see what that smile looks like. I just tabbed down. There we go. That's a decent looking smile, I guess. Okay, but now, like I said, we have that left and right. Well, how are we gonna use those? Well, remember earlier when I was talking about copying a shape key? Well, we're gonna do that. Just go ahead and set that value all the way up. Hit the plus sign, and it copied it into key 6. And what I'm gonna do up here now is go to smile. I'm gonna name this one to smile.l. There we go. And I'm going to grab key 6, and we're going to name that one smile.r. And now, see if we just set the value up, it's going to double it. Well, we can go ahead and set them all the way up. And now, right here where these, you see these little 6, 7 dots there, that's for shape keys, or excuse me, for vertex groups. So since we have smile left here, we want to apply that to our left side. And we have smile right, needs to be on the right side. So now, since we have these signified by the left and right vertex groups, that's the only ones that they control. The smile.r is only controlling the right side, as you can see. Smile.l, only the left side. Okay, so now we have our smile. What do we need now? Frown, of course. So we'll go frown. Okay, and we'll zoom in here. Do the same thing we did on the smile, except the opposite way. Go down. Turn that smile upside down, unfortunately. It's usually the other way around, but there we go. So frown, there we go. And we'll do the same thing, set the value all the way up to 1, hit the plus sign, and we'll call this one frown.r, then go back up to this one, frown.l. Okay, and set that to left side, and that one to the right side. So you can see they control the individual sides now. Okay, now what do we need to do? Well, if he's going to be smiling and frowning, chances are he's going to want to say something. So what do we need to do? We need to open those lips. So let's create a new key, and we'll call this one top lip up. Okay, and go into edit mode, and grab some of these vertices of that top lip. Zoom in real close. There we go. Okay, and we'll go ahead and just move those up, and maybe move them in a little bit. And one thing to add a little bit more realism, let's go ahead and take some of that sharp edge off of there. W smooth a couple of times. There we go. So now, top lip up, and you can see his teeth in there. Okay, so we get that top lip up, and then we can grab the smiles, left and right. And he's got a gummy grin there. Okay, so what if he wants to show his bottom teeth? One thing I was made fun of in kindergarten, little backstory of my life. At school pictures, the photographer told me to say cheese, so that's what I said, cheese, and they took the picture, and my smile was basically a ch, you know, that sound, a frown showing my bottom teeth. So anyways, let's go ahead and create the bottom lip down, name that one. Okay, and do the opposite, grab the bottom lip vertices, and I think that's part of the top one. There we go. Okay, that'll work. And let's show those bottom teeth. And the same thing like we did on the top, let's go ahead and grab these guys and take off some of that sharp edge. W smooth, a couple times. There we go. So that's basically what my kindergarten picture looked like. Cheese. I was just doing what the photographer told me to do. Can't blame me for that. Okay, so pretty much the only other shape we need to do for the mouth is kind of a pursed lips. Like if he wants to, well, if he wants to kiss, or just go ooh, or something like that, suck on a straw maybe, we need to purse those lips. So create one more shape key for the lips. We'll say lips pursed. Okay, and now we will go in here and grab all of these loops on the lips yet again. Let's come to front view, scale those on the x-axis. Okay, and we'll go ahead and bring those out like so. And maybe scale those on the y-axis down a little bit. About like so. Okay, so now, there we go. Okay, so we pretty much got the mouth taken care of. I guess we could do... Nah, we won't mess with that. I was going to worry about the tongue shapes or something, but you know, if you want to do that, you go right ahead, but I'm not going to mess with it right now. So we got the mouth all set. Let's go ahead and start working on the upper part of the... Actually, let's just move up a little bit and start working on the nose area. So we'll say... key 12 is going to be, we'll say snarl, okay? And we'll tab in edit mode, and let's grab these guys here, and maybe this top lip here, and just move those up until he's got a nice, well, I don't know if you can say a snarl is nice, but until he's got, you know, where he can show his anger or his disgust. About like so. Maybe bring this up a little bit more. Okay, so, you know, whatever. Okay, so we need to do the same thing we did with the smile and frown. Go ahead and set that up to 1. Go ahead and hit plus. Name that one snarl.l. This one snarl.r. set it to the right, and this one to the left. And it's like Elvis Presley. Hey, Mama. Don't be cruel now. Forgive me for that, I couldn't help myself. Okay, so moving on up, let's get a kind of a squint on his cheek area here. So you can go in and add, you know, as many different types of expressions as you want. I'm going to try to finish up here. We don't need too many more after this one. So we'll just say squint. It's going to be the same type of deal here. Just grab the cheekbone. Just move it up here. About like so. Okay, so squint. There we go. Okay, so same deals, left and right. Go ahead and name this one squint.r. Squinch. Squint.l. Okay. Left side, right side. There we go. And make sure this one is working. Yes. Okay. Now, the elusive blinking. That's what we need to do now. So we'll say eyelid underscore top. Okay. And let's go into our side view here. And let's grab... Now the way I have this eye socket set up is there is no actual eye socket. If we hide the eyeballs, you can see that it kind of just stops right in there. And so that kind of saves a tiny bit of memory when it goes to render this scene. So let's go ahead and unhide that eyeball. Grab the mesh again. And okay, let's grab all of these guys along the top of the eyelid. Go to our side view. And just drag those down. Try not to get the eyebrow in there too much. We're going to set these about halfway down. Okay, sorry about that. Had yet another coughing fit, so all better now. Okay, so get a nice half asleep expression here with the eyes. Move these vertices down to where they're about halfway down his eyeball. Like so, and maybe bring these guys down a little bit as well. So there's a nice smooth transition there. Okay, tab out of edit mode. It's looking pretty good, I guess. Okay, now what we want to do on the bottom lids is make sure that they meet the top lids perfectly. And the way we do that is we go ahead and create our next key. We'll say eyelid bottom. Okay, then we'll tab into edit mode and actually grab the top lid. Well, you know what, tab out. We got our eyelid top selected. Go ahead and set the value all the way to 1. And since we already created the eyelid bottom, it doesn't matter that this one's set to 1. It's not going to affect this one. So we'll tab into edit mode. And since we have, or go to eyelid bottom, and we need to turn on the apply shape keys in edit mode. So you can kind of work, while the top lid is turned on, you can work on the bottom lid and make sure it meets up properly. Now, in order for that to work, the value has to be all the way to 1. Because if you try to grab something and move it, nothing's going to happen. Because you're looking basically at our shape keys as they're turned on. And since this one is turned off, well, nothing's happening. So you got to set it all the way to 1 so it's actually turned on as well. So now we'll grab those and start moving those up to meet the top. Go to our side view, move those out, rotate them a little bit. Get those until we get them set right there. And we'll grab these guys, move those up and out. Let's go to our front view. I need to move those over to the side. This guy as well. Scale those down just to flatten them out a little bit. Okay, now I'm not real happy with the shape of my blink here. So what I'm going to do is kind of switch back and forth between the top lid and the bottom lid shape key as I'm working here. So I got the bottom lid up, and it looks like the bottom lid's going up way too high. So I'm going to bring that back down. Grab all the pieces to it. There we go. Bring that back down just a little bit to maybe about right there. And let's grab this side, drag it down as well, and this side over here. And finally, this right there. Okay, so that's about right. But now we have our top lid that's not really matching up. So all we got to do is just click on that top lid. And now what we're editing is the top lid keyframe, or shape key. So now everything we edit is only going to be applied to this shape key. There we go, almost there. Stay on target. That's a little bit of a Star Wars quote for you guys out there. Almost there. Okay, so now we have our top lids and bottom lids, and I can see right there that the bottom lid is jutting out a little too far. So let's grab that one, come back in here, and even those up. Okay, so now top lid all set, bottom lid all set. Now I did notice a little bit of the bottom lid down here moving with the top lid. I must have moved a little bit of that as I was working. So let's tab back in there and set that all the way down again. Maybe move that back. So does that need to come up then? Yeah. Just try to fix it. Set it to where it's the exact same. But, you know. Eyelid bottom. Anyways, so that's pretty good. That'll work. Okay, so now the only thing really remaining is the eyebrows themselves, or the eyebrows. So, well, actually, before we do that, we need to set these to be left and right. So go ahead and set the value up to 1, plus sign. Let's go ahead and move that guy. Since I was on this one and I hit the plus sign, it copied it, but it put it at the bottom of the list, which, you know, is only natural. But I would like it to be right below its copy, so I'll just hit the little arrow right there, and it puts it right there below that. So we'll say, call this one eyelid underscore top dot r. Copy that. If you just mouse over the text field right there, you can hit Control C and it'll copy it. So we can go in here and paste it, which we didn't really need to, because all we got to do is add the .l. But anyways, so this one's going to be set to the left, and this one will be to the right. Okay, so left, and okay, left and right. And the same thing on the bottom one. Go ahead and set that up to 1 plus. Call this one eyelid underscore bottom dot r, and this one will be .l. Okay, and left side and right side. Okay, coming right along. Go ahead and save this guy. There we go. And like I said, last but not least, the eyebrows. So first one will be, I'll just call it brow angry. Okay, we'll tab into edit mode and grab the main parts of the eyebrow, the middle of the eyebrow, and let's go ahead and turn off the apply shape keys in edit mode, and we will move these down while raising our fall off of our proportional editing. Move that down until he's kind of got an angry expression going on. Let's go to our side view. Maybe bring these out some. Okay. these down as well. Nice glaring angry. You wouldn't like him when he's angry. That's another sci-fi movie quote for you guys, or TV show quote, I guess. I guess movie quote too. Incredible Hulk. Okay, so we got angry. Let's go ahead and give that a left and right attribute as well. Okay, brow angry dot L. Copy that. Brow angry dot R. And right side and left side. Okay, so now he can kind of have a quizzical expression if he needs to. And a couple of more. And this one will be sad, or I guess brow sad. Okay. And same deal, except the opposite, basically. Drag those up. Now, we just kind of got a, you know, what kind of expression going on here? Okay. Okay. And same deal, left and right. Brow sad.r, brow sad.l. Okay. And this will be left, and this will be right. That might be exaggerated a little bit too much. Speaking of exaggerating, let me save this and let me backtrack just a little bit. Let's go back to our eyelids. And one thing we can do is right now he's just kind of got a blank, well, it kind of looks like his eyes are wide open, but for his character, they're just kind of standardly, you know, just open, plainly open, no surprise or shock or anything like that. They're just open. Let's make them where they can be wide open. Now, we don't need to create a new shape. What we need to do is just set these previously made shape keys here. Let me expand that out so we can read it. Eyelid bottom L and R, and eyelid top L and R. Right now the value is 0 and the complete value is 1. Now we can change the minimum and maximum. Maximum is 1, minimum, let's change that to negative point, let's say 2.5. So now you can see that the gray slider bar here goes up a little bit. That's because now we can grab it and drag it a little further back. Which 0.25 maybe not be far enough, so just do negative 0.5. And that's good. We'll call that one good. And also need just to hit 0 there, so it zeroes it out. You can no longer drag it all the way to the left to, excuse me, you can't drag it all the way to the left to zero it out, because all the way to the left is the minimum value, which is negative 0.5. So we'll do the same thing on this guy, negative 0.5, and let's do the same thing on the top eyelids. Negative 0.5 might be too much on these. Yeah, let's try negative 0.3. Okay, there we go. That's probably good. Nice surprised expression there. See what the... You know what, maybe 0.5 is too far on the bottom as well. Let's try negative 0.3 on those as well. Okay, yeah, that'll work. Not too much. And then eyelid top here, negative 0.3. Have a nice wide open expression there. So now let's zero all these out, because we have a couple more to make before we're done making our basic facial shape keys. So we got our brows, left and right, angry and sad. And now we'll work on the outer parts of the brow. So we'll say brow outer up. Tab in edit mode, grab these guys here, move those up, and these guys as well. Move those on the z-axis up, maybe in just a bit, and about like that. And tab out. You know what? Let's go and just turn that up off and see if we can't just set a minimum value of negative. Yeah, let's try negative 0.3 on this one too. And you know, we could probably go even further. Let's try negative 0.5. Save us a little bit of time of having to make another brow outer up, brow outer down, so on and so forth. So let's try negative 1. See how that looks. I think that looks good. Let's go ahead and -1 all the way up to 1. So let's set that all the way up to 1 and copy it. We'll call this one .L, and of course this one brow outer.R. Set its minimum to -1 as well, and give this one the right side and that one the left side. So now it can go all the way down or all the way up, all the way down or all the way up, and the angry, sad. So you can just kind of do a few different types of expressions there. Okay. All right. And get everything zeroed out. Okay. And you know what? I think we're good. One more thing, sorry, to get you excited. Cheek puff. If he wants to puff out his cheeks. Say cheek puff. Okay. And grab our old cheeks there and puff them out like so. And let's bring them forward a little bit. Don't want to mess with the jaw. Okay. Okay. So let's see what that looks like. Cheek puff. There we go. That looks pretty good. You know what? When you puff your cheeks, your lips are gonna purse just a little bit. So instead of trying to use 2 different controllers for this, we'll just grab these and scale them on the x-axis just a little. And maybe the y-axis too. There we go. And of course we need to do left and right on here. There we go. Actually, rename it first. Cheek puff dot R for the second one, and then give this one dot L. Okay, and the left side and the right side. And there we go. Okay, now that's all of the basic expressions that I'm going to show you on this one. Like I said, you can go through and make, you know, as many as you want. You know, you can make like a nostril flare or ear flap or whatever you want to do. You can make as many as you need. But for now, this is all the ones I'm going to work with. That's quite a few actually for the tutorial. It might have dragged on just a little bit. Sorry about that. But that's going to be all for part 1. And part 2, we'll go ahead and set up our drivers and see how far we get. Maybe we'll go ahead and mess with a little bit of deform mesh. So that's going to be it. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in part 2.